That was such a crisp cannon.
It was, wasn't it? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, lesbian. I'm
Cheers to
gonna say
lesbians.
I'm going to say it wrong because I can't help
Hydrate
but
or die straight.
almost say the other way around. Lesbian deathbed.
No, lesbian bed death.
Yeah, do you get that a lot though?
Every day.
You get in bed first and then you die afterwards. That's the way I remember it. Lesbian bed death.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to start with an apology, lesbian bed death, because I'd seen your name bandied around and I thought, death metal band, not interested. So I'd brushed you aside, and it was only because you was here at Call the Wild that checked you out and wow,
surprise.
love you, yeah, surprise, it
We're
was
not
such,
death metal.
it was such a lovely surprise, so I need to get caught up. Tell me all about lesbian bed death.
Who wants to start?
You start.
Oh my
You
god.
founded the band.
I did. Yeah. I had a lot of time on my hands and very little to do. So basically, I started the band as a little side project a long time ago because I wanted to do something that was a bit more kind of goth and a bit more glam. So I love a lot of old school goth bands. I love a lot of old glam bands as well. I want to do something that would mash those two styles together. And I tried to do that. I don't know if I was successful or not. And we did a first album, and then because it was a side project, it was really just me and a couple of friends, plus a who's who of the local scene at the time. And then developed into proper bands, and then there's different lineup changes and all kinds of things happened. And 20 years later, we're still here. So someone somewhere's listening to us.
Yeah.
Obviously, I didn't realise it was like 20 years since you set the band up. I'm going to have to not
I
even
love
say
being
it.
reminded about
We're all vampires, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all just immortal.
So, this final, or at the moment, reiteration of band, when did you all get together, or when was the last member coming in?
Alicia is the newest member,
Followed by JJ.
and then it was me a few years ago.
And then I've been in the band for roughly 10 years now, isn't it? Is it 11? It's too long.
Not too long. I'm staying. You can't get me away.
It's a murder sentence.
We all have a life sentence each to do, and then we get. No, I'm joking. No, we're here to stay.
And we evolve.
With a band, it genuinely takes a lot of time to find people, especially you're close to, and you can get along with that age. You often see that members may do one tour and be like, this isn't actually for me, essentially. So yeah, but we've all found people that are on the same page. We all annoy one another, but we all love one another, and we just have so much fun, don't we?
We do.
And, yeah. So here we are.
Cool. Here we are, as you say, at Call of the Wild Festival.
At Call of the Wild.
I'm assuming you've done festivals before. Would I be right in that?
Not big outdoors.
No, this is the
So this
first.
is your first festival. How did you find it?
Amazing. Can we go back? Can we do another one? Can we go back on stage?
Sadly, it's not up to me, but if it was, definitely. Definitely. So, where do you usually gig? Are you touring again, or where have you last done?
We played Poland 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we did.
That was quite cool. Oh, very cool actually. And we did Breaking Bands Festival last week. And in October we're supporting the Birthday Massacre on a full UK tour. It's about a 2-week tour.
Have we got another one as well? Between the horror?
Yeah, we're headlining this horror punk festival in Stafford. Yeah, we've got a good show at Leeds as well, coming up in December. Like Cop and Upton Goth Night.
So yeah, the big highlight's going to be Birthday Massacre tour.
Yeah, that'll be a highlight.
Yeah.
13 dates. That's
Definitely.
13 dates.
13 dates across the UK. And is it late October, early November?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
that's
yeah.
going to be fun.
Yeah.
So I'll put that in the description so anybody watching can link into that. And, buy tickets now.
Buy
Tickets, t-shirts, and
Yeah, we've had a couple of people that have come to the signing tent afterwards and be like, I bought a ticket from Nottingham at the rescue rooms, and they're telling us where they're going to come and see us again, which is amazing. It's always nice to hear, we'll come back, and rather than, you guys were awful, we're never going to see you again.
what the hell was that?
So your rescue room's Nottingham then, so that's not far from here,
Yeah.
and I live not far from here. So when are your rescue rooms, so I can put it in my diary?
The actual date is when we're on tour with the Birthday Massacre.
Find out when the actual date
And it's
is.
sometime in November.
Sometime in
So
November.
Let's get back to
Is
you on
it
that.
the 30th?
I will find out.
I think I've got it in my diary.
We've put other vote.
Hang on.
I've got classic lead singer syndrome. I don't know when anything is. I just
It
get
is
taken there.
the 2nd of November.
The 2nd of November.
Nottingham rescue rooms. I
That's
will
right.
check my diary and I'll try and come and see you there.
Wicked.
Cool.
Whilst before I come to see you live again, I need to get caught up on music. You've got quite a few albums out, I understand.
8.
When did it start, and what was your first one, and what's your last one?
First one came out in, I think it's April 2006, called I Use My Powers for Evil. So it's a very different band to what it is now. It's just me left, basically. So yeah, that was I don't know. That album still sells really well now, and you know, I've actually read online that apparently it's a classic, and I'm like, a goth classic. I'm like, I'll take it. I don't think it is. I listen to it, and I just hear like a young and experienced band just having a bit of fun, but it's stood the test of time. So
I think that's kind of the charm about it, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is a little bit juvenile.
It's
just
massively juvenile.
It's fun.
It's just
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I think the sound's very different to the stuff that we do now as well, isn't it? It's evolved in a certain way, and I think back then it was very goth and it was very kind of melodic and chill and a bit crazy. And then I think we've kind of blended in a bit more hard rock, haven't we, recently? So
Yeah,
it's,
definitely.
yeah.
Especially. Yeah.
Still got the elements. I think it's a real weird mix of like hard rock, metal, punk, and goth.
Yeah.
You know, them just like supercharged riffs all the time.
Yeah.
Everything's just like, wow.
Our
Sprinkle the
latest
cheese.
album was Midnight Lust, which is the first album that I ever did, and it is amazing. It makes me cry. Because I like it.
Is it that bad?
No, like, in a good way, because it's one of those things where, you know, when you've wanted to do something for so long and you finally get presented an opportunity to actually do it, and you listen to it back, and the stuff that I'd done in music, I just would like never play it. I wouldn't enjoy it, wouldn't listen to it. Whereas Midnight Lust is on, I always play it. So I really enjoy doing that album, and then we're working on the new one as well.
Yeah.
We're popping down to Amy's to record some stuff on Sunday, which is cool.
Well, there's 2 new ones coming up, isn't there?
There's 2, yeah.
Yeah, we have a live album coming out.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that should be hopefully out by the time we do the Birthday Massacre tour. And we've got another album which we call Satan the Cellar, which is coming out when it's finished, basically, which is also the soundtrack to the movie Satan the Cellar, which is a horror film I directed.
Alright.
So it's just something on my bucket list. I thought, I'm just going to do this. So I thought it'd be fun for us to write the soundtrack to it as well. So that's the new album. So the 2 will kind of like cross-promote them next year.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so
So full Satan Cellar tour.
you're going to have to go a bit sidetracked now, so you're a film director as well.
Well, it's a bit of
Yes, by the way.
It's a bit of a stretch.
There's a lot of side quests. There's also a pimp on the side.
I've got director written on a piece of paper, so again, I'll take it.
Yeah, someone bought in one of those little clicky things where you go,
Action!
Action.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, so I have massive imposter syndrome, but you know, it's just something I wanted to do, and I've done it now. And we're in the process of fixing the audio. Then we've got to obviously do the album as fast as we can, because I can't release the movie until we've got the songs finished. And then just promote both, you know, hopefully for Halloween. That's the plan. And you just see what happens. Because I thought, well, if you've got, because there's a lot of crossover, I think, with like horror films and rock music generally. So it's just another way for new people to find out about the band, and also having a bit of a fan base means there's people who might want to watch the movie as well. So we'll see what happens.
Yes.
We're trying different stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Well, they say diversification is the key, so yeah. So you're a musician and a film director. What's everybody else do apart from being a musician? And what's your history? Because you've all come together, you're a now lesbian bed dev. See, lesbian bed dev. What were you all doing before?
Like before we joined the
Yeah,
band.
before you joined the band.
Before I joined LBD, well,
She was in diapers.
I was in,
No, but I can't speak. I was trying to make a joke.
I was in diapers before. No, I'm joking. So
We're not America.
Dan found me. I actually did a gig in my other band, Mishaps, before I joined LBD with LBD. We did a charity gig at this venue called Jolly's Cabaret Venue in Stoke together in 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2021. And that was when I was in a college band called Mishaps that I'd started. Completely different. It was more indie. It was really like soft rock, if anything. Before I joined this band, I'd actually never sung rock vocals before. And I remember when Dan finally messaged me, I'd been sort of like a fan of the band since the Witching Hour CD came out. Loved that album and really got into the band. Then we did that gig together and you dropped me a message saying, hey, like an opening's come up, would you like to try out, essentially. That day that he messaged me, I went and met Dan and our band manager Ev at a pub just down where I live, and they were basically like, as long as you're not crap, you're in, basically. And I did say, I was like, I'd never sung rock vocals before it had just pretty much been me and my acoustic guitar to some more like folky kind of stuff. So it was a massive change for me. And by the time that I came in, worked with you and Steve in the studio quite a bit, didn't I? And you didn't think I was crap, so now I'm here. So I must be doing something right because I'm still here. So yeah.
Yeah. What about everybody else? Other bands been in and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I was a similar kind of position. I think I was poached from another band. I was in a small band based in Stoke called Between Angels and Idols, and I think our bass player at the time was friends with the guitarist of LBD at the time, and I think he somehow kind of got in touch with Dan and was like, oh yeah, there's a drummer that's alright kind of thing, and yeah, Dan sent me a message and was like, do you want to come and try out for this band? So I was like, yeah.
Dan just
why the
was
hell not?
stealing people from other bands.
Why the hell not? Well, it was a bit of an awkward one really, because I kind of tried out for this band. You know what drummers are like? It's kind of like everyone's trying to catch you, and sometimes people put nets over you and try and catch you. But basically, yeah, I said, yeah, I'm going to try out for this band, and I think the band that was in at the time caught wind of it, and they weren't very happy. They were like, you've got to pick, you've got to choose. I was like, I can do both. I can do both. But they made me choose, so I chose LBD because you got to grow and you got to move
That's
on.
exactly what it to be.
What you do, this is really dark now. What you do is that if you need a new band member, generally you look at who's around and you look at what bands are kind of local bands are kind of been around for a while, haven't really done many gigs, and they're clearly on the way out. They're at that point where they're fizzling out. And that's a good time. If you catch a band where they just started, it's all exciting and they're all friends and they think that everything's going to be amazing. No, you wait until life gets them and starts strangling them a little bit. And then you go in and offer them something. You know your band that plays the dog and duck once every 2 months. Right?
You have to wait until there's like a
join
really
the dark
bad
side.
gig.
Join the bad death.
Watch the socials, and when they post a picture with 3 people in the audience, then that's when you throw the
That's
line.
exactly what
That's pretty much what he did.
That's exactly
He to watch me. Well, he didn't even see on a photo. He came to my gig at the Rigger in Newcastle back home, and there was like 4 people in the audience, and he was one of them. But I didn't even know he was there. That you've been DJing.
I was working. I didn't actually decide to go.
Yeah, he didn't decide to go. He was forced to because he was DJing. And then I think he just sort of, I don't know, he was like, yeah, she's weak, I can get her.
Exactly. She's not got much going on. Nothing to do.
So let's see, what about you?
Yeah, so I was in a little bit of a band. We did a few gigs here and there, but I found it really difficult to actually find people that I just gelled with, and people that I could stick with and be consistent with, and also people that were kind of as passionate about making it work and helping each other as much as I was. Like, there's a lot of times when I was in bands, I got people together, I tried out different genres, different people, and I just really found it so hard to find people that I actually wanted to work with.
And she's still looking. No,
I did get an offer recently.
Don't you dare.
No, but it's nice nice to have finally found people that like want to work as hard as I do about it, because I found basically I was just doing everything, and it's not always necessarily fun when it's like that, and but I think we all get on.
Yeah.
It's good though, isn't it? I think it's what you're saying is kind of hard sometimes, because you get a lot of bands who don't criticise themselves and don't give each other like the constructive criticism that they need to grow and become better. And it's like it's a hard line, isn't it? Because you've got to recognise when there are things you can improve on, but also you don't want to piss people off. So, it's like it's good. You've got to all help each other.
You've got to give candid feedback.
Yeah, exactly. And be okay with receiving it.
And that's what I found when I was writing music for the other band that I was in and stuff like that. I was like, right, do you know when sometimes you just want somebody to go, actually this is crap. But nobody just go, cool. I'd be like, but it's not though, is it? Just tell me what's wrong with it. Yeah.
I've got a good ear for a single, you know what I mean? And I know when a song isn't working. I know when, you know. I've got a thing in my head when I hear a demo. I can hear it. I can imagine it coming to life, and I know that, you know, I go, that's worth keeping. You know, if someone's written a song that they think, well, I think this is a bit of shit, really. I'm gonna don't think this is worth, you know, pursuing. But sometimes I'll hear something and be like, no, we need to work on that. And I can hear a vocal, or I can hear a little hook or something.
That's how a lot of the some of the previous albums kind of came about. I used to write these horrendous, horrible riffs on my guitar and just send a great bucket of them to Dan. And like 80% of them were just absolutely horrendous, but I was just there with my guitar going for it. And then like every so often I'd write a banger unbeknownst to me, and Dan would be like, yeah, that's a winner. We'll take that and we'll expand it.
Yeah. It's about being able to see the full picture. You've got your bit of paint splattered here and there, and then kind of you can look at it and be like, yeah, I can turn that into an oil painting or something that isn't a piece of shit, basically.
See,
hard rock.
They just like they keep me packaged in a pristine box wrapped in plastic, and then when they need me, they just peel it away and just unearth. Just come out to do my job.
Yeah, and the other thing is important with the band, with Lesbian Better, is that I always kind of wanted to do something a bit more theatrical. I kind of, you know, when I said like the goth stuff and the sleaze and the glam that I kind of grew up with, I was also a massive fan of Alice Cooper, particularly like the heavy metal years that no one seems to like Constricted through Taste Stupid or something. And I was a huge fan of that, of the snakes and the fire and the stage show. And also I love Kiss as well. So the whole, you know, you don't just want to see a bunch of people who look like they just come off the street standing there playing songs. You want a show, you want a theatre,
that's where the Lost Girls.
We've got the Lost Girls, or Lost Girl at the moment.
Yeah.
Just to add something else to the show, just to have some, you know, some dancing and some blood, you know, maybe fire one day. Well, you have to do fire one day.
You learn how to fire dance.
I could fire eating, spitting fire.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that. Yeah. We'll get on.
Looks like it's on your list of things.
On your list, get learning.
I just think like everything needs to be extra now, you know.
Yeah, but we love being extras, so
yeah,
it's fine.
Gotta be extra.
Dan was like, I want drama, I want theatre, and we were like, drama! We can do
on
it.
stage coming in vlogging like,
What's happened up there? Yeah, it's wicked.
I think it's one of the things I like about your band, because I like that stuff as well. Alice Cooper and that, the stage show, Kiss's stage show, they go full guns blazing. I love stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Work up to that, it'll be amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In the future. So what does the future hold for? I'm going to say it, LBD.
LBD.
It's easy, well, you're saying it, so it's easy to say.
It's an interesting thing. We often get asked that question. What does the future hold? I don't know. You try. Well, I'm a big believer in you try and, you know, you make your own luck. Don't you? Try and, you know, sow the seeds for what you want to happen next year. And there is a lot of luck involved. You know, and there's also a lot of bad luck involved. In previous lineups and things, we've had a lot of problems and bad luck and awful stuff happen to us. But I'm a big believer in like the snowball effect. You know, you do a few good shows, they lead to other good shows. I think if you're not playing and you haven't had an album out recently or anything, then you're not at the front of people's minds anymore. And at the moment we've had a lot of momentum because we're doing Breaking Bands Festival and doing this one. That I'm hoping, fingers crossed, some other maybe smaller festivals they might book us for next year, and then then hopefully someone in the crowd from maybe a label, bigger label, something. You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to. I wanted to get us to America, for example, but the cost of the visas is so high that without a label's money, we wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be able to afford it. We did Poland DIY. And we can do parts of Europe DIY, but it's very.
And our guitars got left in Munich.
Yeah. Wait for the guitars, like the little carousel stops. It's like, oh no.
Oh no, where are they?
No.
So just some made eye contact with you across the carousel, and we were like,
No.
That's it. There aren't any big name managers. There aren't any endorsement people we can phone up, or any labels we can phone up. It's literally us. Everyone around this table. That's it. That's the team. That's his booking shows.
But what does help us and stuff is it's something unique that I've seen around this band that I haven't really seen in any other band from where we've come from, is the community that's around us. The people who come to watch, or they interact with us online and they buy our merch and stuff. The community we've amassed over the years is amazing, and without everyone's support, we wouldn't be sat here today. They also help us get those shows, and there is a limit, of course. There's going to be some things where at one point it's not going to be possible without some form of endorsement, some people's money and stuff. But we've managed to get so far thanks to the help of hundreds and a couple thousand people who are dedicated, and that to me is just what music is actually about. It's supporting one another, being like, yeah, I'm really into this by what you guys stand for, and I'm going to support you essentially do what you guys do. Thanks, guys.
I always look at it from when I was a teenager, and I used to go see a lot of bands when I was 15, 16, and we'd often wait outside by the tour bus, see if we'd get autographs and photos of these big artists and stuff. And you remember the artists who come out were really cool and really nice to everybody, and you remember the ones who are complete assholes basically, and just really didn't, oh, it's 6 people I've got to sign stuff for, oh no, and they were just vile. And but they were the minority. But you remember these things, and I remember thinking, if ever I'm in a band one day, I don't want to do that. And so it's the thing that over the years we've always made time. If someone wants a CD signed, we do it. Thank you. It's we look after people who want, if anyone wants anything
It's
signed.
still confusing though, I don't think I'll ever get over it. It's been a few years now, but however many years in the future it gets to that point, I'll never get used to someone being like, hey, can you sign this for me? Can you take a picture? And I'm like, why? Why do you want my handwriting?
I always just think I'm just a scruff from Sheffield. Anything
I'm from Sheffield.
But the important thing, the
I
answer is
know I'm
always
funny at
yes.
this, so.
Yeah, Amy knows why people want it.
The important thing is the answer is always yes. You know what I mean? So if anyone talks about the band, I always want them to have a positive experience of that.
I think it's a big thing for us in general, isn't it? Just making sure that we're all friendly.
Yeah, branded.
Oh yeah, you should see us behind closed doors. We're evil.
Yeah,
We hate each other actually. Dan just has a whip, right? And he puts shockers on us as well. He has a little button. He presses the button, and that's what makes JJ go and play.
yeah.
Definitely no blood bleeding on stage.
A heart monitor had been acting up, it's just you.
Sing, JJ,
Sing.
Dance, monkey, dance.
So here at Call of the Wild Festival, you've done your set, it was great, enjoy it?
Very much so.
Incredible.
Amazing.
So good.
It's our first time at Call of the Wild, and fingers crossed it won't be our last. Have us back next year.
I'm sure they will, Are you going after today, or are you staying?
I'm staying over on tonight, yeah. And I'm probably going to go late tomorrow.
Yeah. Any bands for the rest of the day or tomorrow that you want to see?
Really want to see Royal Republic.
I've got to be at home tomorrow, unfortunately, but I'm intending to drive back on Sunday and watch Michael Monroe. I love the Demolition 23 album. I that as a teenager. It came off a really open piece of stuff.
See, I should go home because I've got Dan's dog in my kitchen. So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the slow cooking.
I just wanted curry.
Were you even polite? Well, we were once part of
Well, it's been great to speak to you, LBD. LBD. Good luck with everything, and I will see you, hopefully, Nottingham Rescue Room.
2nd of November.
2nd of November.
That's the one.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
And thanks Sue for recording.
Thank you.